All Crane Rental claims to be the largest privately held crane rental and sales operation in North America. It has over 3,500 pieces of lift equipment for sale or rental. In 1:50 scale, WSI has previously modelled the Liebherr LTM 1500 and Tadano ATF 400 mobile crane models, and now we have another one in the all crane livery. It's the 4-axle Liebherr LTM 1090. It comes in a standard Liebherr branded box, and inside there are the usual expanded polystyrene trays. Included is a card with a QR code where you can get some more information. But let's get stuck in, cut the tape, and open the trays. Inside the box, the parts are protected with clear plastic. The model comes with a spooling drum that would be located on the boom, but it doesn't fix on, so you'd have to glue it. But for this review, we'll leave this optional part off. To carry the counterweight in transport mode, we need to take off the top section, because not all of it can be carried under the boom. So this is all about spreading the weight equally over the axles, and that's achieved by putting the main load under the boom, and then the last remaining slab goes at the back, where it rests in place. Next we can add on the fly jib, and that has a connection point near the front where we secure it with a steel pin. The chassis of the LTM 1090 is very detailed, with the steering and suspension components modelled. There's also a tank modelled at the rear, and the big tyres have a decent tread pattern. The carrier cab looks very sharp in a white colour scheme, and there's a large oversized load sign at the front. There's also an all graphic and a number plate. The hook block has got nice chevrons and there's a hoist safety cut-off chain, but the pulley blocks appear to be solid. The cab door has got a modelled handle and there are textured stepping plates, but the nicest aspect is the detailed graphics. The wheels are detailed and there's branding on the sidewalls of the tyres. Another area of high detail is on the crane body behind the cab, with various components and hoses modelled. More tiny graphics add detail, including on the outrigger post. At the back, the Liebherr name is embossed in the counterweight, and there's another big oversized load sign. The folding fly jib has got a lattice and a solid section, and it's all made in metal. The ratchet section is in plastic, but with an excellent colour match. With the boom up, you can see the excellent detail on the carrier behind the cab, and that includes a really nice mesh grille and lots of different components. There are a number of small graphics, and the walkway surfaces are textured. Looking inside the crane cab, you can see there's Liebherr printed on the seat back. Even on the top of the boom, an extremely tiny graphic has been applied. So we're back underneath, and each of the axles has independent steering, and there's quite a decent range of movement. So you can replicate any moves of the real crane, including crab steering. The model rolls reasonably well in a straight line, and it poses well with the steering on, but in practice the review model was just a little bit skiddy. When on site, the two-stage outrigger beams pull out in the normal way, and you load the pads by unscrewing, which reveals smooth pistons. Included with the model are small square plastic spreader plates, and once all set up, the outrigger system works well, and they can support the crane wheels free. Using giant sky tweezers, you can rotate ladders, which then give access up onto the carrier deck. And you can also extend the footplate from under the cab. It's get your boom up time. And to hold the pose, you can lock it in position using the Allen key that's supplied, and that's a trusted system that works well. Now the crane would pick up its counterweight from the rear and put it on the stack, and then it would swing round to connect it itself. The model has a working vario ballast, so the counterweight can be held in for working in tight spaces, or out for maximum capacity. Next we'll use a couple of giant hand lifts to lift up the counterweight slabs, and we'll offer it up to the attachment points and slide them in from the side. They then get wound up using the Allen key. The telescopic sections pull out smoothly in the usual way, and it's best to have a load on the hook while you do it. To simulate the real crane, there are 3 locking points for each telescopic section. Another feature on the model is that the crane cab can be tilted. One really good thing about this model is that it can be used as a support crane to a much larger model. If you want to pose the model for a different lifting circumstance, you can attach the fly jib, and it slides over the connection points at the top of the boom. A couple of steel pins fix it in place, and then we need to raise up the guide wheel for the hoist rope, and that also gets pinned into position. If you want to go for the maximum height, then you can open up the folding section, and you guessed it, it pins into position. Another choice the model offers is that the fly jib is on a ratchet, so by undoing the nuts and bolts you can pose it at different angles. This is another really nice example of the Liebherr LTM 1090 by WSI. The all crane colour scheme looks great, and it poses really well with other models in all crane colours. This model is a nice mix of high detail and functionality, and overall this limited edition is rated as excellent.